Hey, so I'm excited about this episode because I have a person I've never really even spoken to on today, but he's been a name in my mind for so long from the hashtag No Small Creators group. I mentioned him a bit in one of my vlogs. I'll put that in the description because it's fun and he liked that video. I'd like to introduce you to John Eska. He is a drone racer YouTuber. So I'm looking forward to jumping into this world of drones and racing and cool stuff. Let's get into it.
Hey Katie, how's it going? Thanks for having me on your show.
So, where in the world are you stationed and how is it over there?
I am from Texas in the United States, and right now it is pretty hot. There's not a lot to do because we can't really get it outside much, but my YouTube channel puts me outside for drone racing, drone flying. So that's why I do tend to get a bit of a tan these days.
Whew, we were pretty close to California last summer when we were in Las Vegas for a few days, so I do not envy you having to be outside right now. I'd love to hear a little bit more about you and your kind of creative journey.
I have been working on with cameras for my whole life, taking photos, stuff like that. After I finished my bachelor's degree, I decided to take a class for fun at the local community college to learn some creative writing just as a break before I went on to grad school. And that was so much fun. That break lasted a long time and it stretched out to like 9 classes. So that was a lot of photography, several film classes. So that's where I learned to work with cameras, do editing, stuff like that. I got to the point where I was actually a TA for one of those video production classes. And that was a lot of fun. I just didn't have time for it anymore. So that kind of fell to the back burner for many years. Then I started flying FPV drones, which is where you put the goggles on and you see through the drone's camera. And I noticed I had been covering a lot of stuff that was on a lot of other YouTube channels. So I just figured, why not dust off some of my video gear and just give a few notes.
So, how long have you been making videos on YouTube, and how long have you been in the drone racing niche?
I've been doing the YouTube thing for about 2.5 years now, which is, wow, I didn't really think it was that long. I really wish I could make myself be more creative and do writing, maybe publish something. But for now, this is kind of my creative outlet and I'm able to manage it fairly well since I'm already doing the hobby behind this, which is flying drones anyway. I've actually been flying the drones for closer to 5 years. So the first couple of years, I was just doing my own thing, trying different things, but the technology kept evolving faster and faster. And I'm the kind of person that I'm just like kind of a gear head, and I just like to try everything that comes out. And in the film arena, when I was back into that, that can get very expensive very fast with camera gear, lenses, mics, sliders, steady cams, all of that stuff just starts to add up. And though the drone thing can definitely nickel and dime you to death, a lot of the stuff is fairly cheaper. So just for instance, I used to get excited about a $5,000 camera. Now I can get excited about a $30 camera. And so I could literally try everything that came out in the drone area. And just when I was done trying it, sell it because people are always buying stuff secondhand. And after a while, I just noticed that I had in my hands everything these YouTube channels were having. And I have a background professionally of comparing tech, making tech purchase recommendations to organizations. So I could kind of use that same skill set to just treat the viewer as if they were someone I was making a recommendation to, try to cut out the BS, don't read off the specs, and just get them the comparisons between something that's cheaper, something that's more expensive, and try to help them make the decision that whether this product is right for them or not.
Sounds good. There is definitely way too much bull pucky out there. Gotta get to the point, people. Come on. You are such a huge advocate on the hashtag No Small Creators group for using what you have and being consistent. You don't want to hear anybody's excuses. It's like that Shia LaBeouf gif. What are you waiting for? just do it. I want to see if I can include that GIF down there in the corners because it's such a good one. I see that GIF and I think of you. So anyway, what led you to these strong feelings? Has consistency and commitment always been really important qualities to you?
I'm a little more to the point, a little more blunt with people, yes, trying to tell them they should always be consistent, they should stop making excuses, yada, yada, yada. And that comes from what I mentioned earlier with taking a lot of those classes. When I was taking especially the creative writing classes, it was like you would have an assignment. You would come, and the assignment was loose. It was just like work on whatever was creatively inspiring to you. So there would be people that were working on novels that would bring a chapter. There were people that would be working on poetry. There were people that, like me, that would just, write something on the fly in class. But that dedicated time in order to produce was really precious to me. And what really incentivized you to keep producing was if you had something on the day of class, you could read it to the class, and then everyone would go around giving you feedback. And then there was some instruction on how to give people like positive feedback. Don't tell them that I feel this is a piece of crap, right? I feel it could have used more here or that. And so when I found the No Small Creator Group, it was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It's like an online equivalent to that. And so that's kind of what I wanted it to be in my mind. And it kind of was for a lot of people. But over time, you would see people coming in there talking about creating, but not creating. They were talking about when they were going to make a video, when they were going to make a series, but they weren't doing it. And what I've realized over time about people is that there's actual creative people that want to create things, and there's creative people that want to get that same endorphin rush and high of feeling like they created something. And so you can trick your brain into getting that same rush if you spend time planning to do something. And so BSing around can trick yourself into feel like you're actually doing something meaningful. And it's real easy to see the people that are actually planning, that are making steps to do something, versus people that are just spitballing and saying, I don't have the time, I don't have this, I don't have that, I got work, I got school, I got kids, everybody's busy. Everybody has the same problems as you or worse. Sometimes people have it better. It doesn't matter. You can still take the time to create. And so people that were putting stuff out, I wanted to give them special attention if I could, really go through their work, kind of give them notes. And we have had a lot of people contributing lately, so that's awesome. But that's why I'm a little harsh, is that I know that that mindset of creating effectively is like it's such a tightrope you have to walk, and you can fall off, and we can influence each other. And if we see people saying, oh, it's okay if you didn't get your video out this week, I know you're busy. That's crap. You're just spreading your non-productivity to everyone in the group. Spread the productivity. If you didn't make your deadline, your schedule this week, it's not the end of the world. But don't go justifying it to yourself. Do double next week, or at least get back on track next week. And so we've got to help to influence each other to be productive, because it's so easy to just sit around in the corner with everyone not making anything and patting yourself on the back for not making anything. That's kind of why that gets me a little bit.
Oh, when you said that part, like, oh, it's okay, you don't have to actually create. That's crap. I was like, yeah. Oh man.
So has the consistency and commitment always come naturally to me? I guess I was kind of a pretty good student in school. I took, being at the top of the class as sort of a competition of sorts. I'm not like super competitive like in sports, but in certain things I am. And I didn't really take my channel too seriously, probably the first year and a half or so, but now I am starting to take it a little more seriously. I've, added twice a week instead of once a week to my upload schedule, and I'm keeping that. And I haven't really let it ever fall behind in the past, 2 years. And if anything, I'll do a third. I'll do extra, but I won't do less. And there's a lot of different tricks I have to keep that schedule going. But so I guess it kind of does come naturally, but like I have the same issues as everyone else where you don't want to do something. You don't want to create, you don't want to do something today, and it just gets tough.
Sometimes the truth is not so. Sometimes it's just more just do it. Yeah, we all have a lot going on. Anyway, let's move on. I was going to ask you what being a no small creator means to you, but I feel like you kind of already answered that. But do you have anything to add?
Like I said, it's like an online version of that classroom environment. And when we are actually sharing things, when we're asking questions, when we're trying to become better, when we're getting notes from each other, when we're getting that creative criticisms, when we as people that watch films and watch videos are using that mindset to critique each other, give each other those advices. When I go on there and I ask for something as far as like, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? I don't want to hear like, oh, it's awesome. Like that's no help to me. I want to hear like, these are the ways that it should be better. It should be shorter. It should be tighter. Your lighting should be this way. Like I want to hear that. That's to me what it's there for. And so encouragement is a piece of it. Yes. And when people are actually producing, definitely give them encouragement of that. But for me, it's just a way that we can all become stronger, but you have to produce. And I really do believe that. Because if you're not, it's not like no small waiting to create something later. It's no small creator. So you got to be a creator if you're going to be in there exchanging ideas. Now, if your schedule is once a month or once a quarter, that's okay too. But just, the people that are like, I haven't done anything in over a year are the kind of people that irk me because they go in there asking questions, monopolizing people's times, knowing damn well they're never going to get off their ass and actually do anything. So why should we be wasting our time on them when we should be wasting our time on each other?
I hear you loud and clear. It's such an opposite mentality I feel in a lot of the other YouTube mom groups I'm in, that everyone is just like, oh, I love it. Oh, I love it. And like part of me wants to be more straightforward, but I'm scared of what people will think. Here is another question. Sometimes I do random accents. I don't know why. What would you change about YouTube as a platform?
What would I change about YouTube? Oh, man. I don't know. I still feel like I'm pretty new. I wish it was a little more straightforward to gain traction, and it's not. But, like anything that's difficult to achieve, you kind of have to figure it out on your own. So there's a lot of these channels that are just like trying to give you sort of the YouTube equivalent of a get rich quick scheme where they're going to give you the answers, give you the secrets. It doesn't really exist. It's very niche dependent. It's very dependent on you, what your workflows are, how you go about creating. So it's kind of a grind, and that's just the best thing that I can say. So I don't hate it. I wish there was a few little extra analytics tools because I do like to dive into those analytics, but everything is so dependent on someone's niche versus dependent on like what kind of thumbnails they use or what kind of this or that they use. Like it just depends. So I haven't really found anything that should change. Now, when I'm 5 or 10 times larger, hopefully I'll have some better opinions. But right now, just to give you an idea, I'm about 3,500 subscribers.
I'm looking forward to seeing when you are 5-10 times bigger and going, yeah, whoa, you did it! Consistency, hard work, creativity. Yeah, all that fun stuff. What was my question? My question was, yes, okay, cool. What is your favorite, drone trick? I don't obviously know anything about drones. Yeah, what's something cool that you can do, and can you give a little demonstration?
What's my favorite drone trick? That's a good question. So, I tend to spend most of my time racing on a track. So my favorite trick, when people have asked me that before, is said it's just not crashing. Not crashing is one of my favorite tricks. but I did recently, I'm gonna put this into a video, make like a 3D printed yard trimmer tool that could attach onto my yard trimmer because the string kept breaking. And as a joke, since I have a drone channel, I was like, you know what? Since I used all of the battery on my yard trimmer, I don't have enough to blow off the clippings. So I'm gonna use a drone to blow off the clippings, and I'll show you a short clip of that. So yes, drone yard work, it is possible, it works great. A few people were walking in the neighborhood getting some exercise, walking by, and they were like, what the heck is this guy doing? But you can combine both your hobbies, drone flying, YouTube creating, and yard work at the same time. Who knew?
I love it. That is such a cool trick. Thanks for showing. Thanks for sharing.
Okay, so my turn. Some questions for you. Let's see. I have enjoyed your channel a lot. I really like how consistent you are, of course, but also how you have a lot of random thoughts and you share them, and it's not just like motivational filth that you're spewing. It's actual thoughts, whether you're having a bad day or a question about this or whatever, and you just kind of spitball it as you're jogging or whatever. I like that formula. How did you come up with that? Was it just a matter of you found yourself doing your best thinking as you were jogging, or is it a matter of like, you know, you're a mom, so the only time you have to yourself is when you're jogging? Like, where did that come from?
Oh, that makes me so happy to hear that you're enjoying that. Like, I honestly felt really discouraged and scared about vlogging because I heard so many people, you included, saying that vlogging and vloggers were boring. Being home for 2 months because of Corona and not being needed at work, it just kind of opened me up to trying to run for the first time ever. And I had worked really, really hard on some videos, really editing the crap out of them. And then I had friends telling me that they preferred me just being myself and just talking, and found those videos a lot more interesting and relatable. So I kind of just starting out being a lot more complicated, turning into just kind of chilling out and just being myself, and realizing that being myself was enough. It was just so freeing. It just feels amazing. I love that these videos are so easy to edit. And I love that I can connect on such a deeper level with people. So I guess that answers that question.
Another question about your channel. I notice it's very free form, kind of amorphous. It just kind of goes into whatever direction. Have you ever thought about a niche or like a hobby that you can kind of surround your channel around and then still make the same comment where you're kind of spitballing, but make it more focused in one direction? Or do you like the free form more, where you can just talk about whatever you want whenever you want and do it like that?
I have thought about it. I even started a crafting channel, which was kind of a mixture of crafting / talking about faith, but I lost my momentum for it. It just didn't capture me. I feel like at this season of my life, I need to be free. But I feel like I am sort of niching into talking to creators, one video a week, and going for walks, and maybe something little extra and creative in there, because I was an actor for so many years and I love junk journaling and just something artsy fartsy mixed in there. So I know that's not niche enough, but I feel it's much better than I used to be if you take a look at my millions and millions of playlists.
Next, what are your goals as far as like channel growth? Are you just kind of still like in a testing mode? You definitely have a good output, which is awesome. A lot of people can learn from that, I think. But like, what's the goal? Is your goal like subscriber base? Is your goal just to be able to keep doing it? And how long have you been doing it?
I have thought about it. I even started a crafting channel, which was kind of a mixture of crafting / talking about faith, but I lost my momentum for it. it just didn't capture me. I feel like at this season of my life, I need to be free. But I feel like I am sort of niching into talking to creators, one video a week, and going for walks, and maybe something little extra and creative in there, because I was an actor for so many years and I love junk journaling and just something artsy fartsy mixed in there. So I know that's not niche enough, but I feel it's much better than I used to be if you take a look at my millions and millions of playlists.
And lastly, have you found that tying your YouTube creation to your sort of physical exercise goals has really helped to strengthen the ability to do both? Like, those are two different things that some people have a hard time finding motivation and time for. But by tying them together, did it make it easier to do both and to not slouch on one or the other, or did it make it more difficult? Talk about that if you would.
There would be more of a direct correlation between these things if I hadn't had to go back to work, where I'm running around while I'm there delivering people's food. So I'm much more of an emotionally driven. I'm much more of an emotionally driven person. So my runs now are more of, wow, I'm so stressed out right now by my 2 4-year-olds screaming and whining about minuscule things not going their way, and I'm just so sick of everything in my life. I just need to get out of the house and run until I feel better. And it's not like a, oh no, I need to get my weekly run in. I don't feel like I'm missing physical activity in my life, so I'm just treating walks and runs as more of emotional outlets, and the athleticism is just a happy accident.
Well, Katie, thanks for having me on the show. Happy to come back anytime, talk about any subject, or give random life advice, as I'm known to do on occasion. So, thanks.
Thank you so much for being here and taking some of your precious time and spending it with me. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks so much for the offer to come again. And yeah, bye. And thank you for watching this. And if you are fascinated by the concept of drones and racing and all that fun stuff and looking at all that techie gear, you should check out John's channel. I'll put it down below in the description. So anyway, hugs and nostrils of death.